Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so excited to be able to be with Jared today, and I can't wait. I've been having a great opportunity by TASL to be able to interview a lot of these players. And so, Jared, how are you doing today? How do you feel about things? What's going through your head?
I'm feeling pretty good today. What am I thinking? Well, I don't know. I feel pretty confident going into it. I don't feel any worry or scared, I guess. I feel confident in my team and I feel like we're gonna pull through today.
That's good. That's exactly what you want, right? You want that confidence, and you need to go into a tournament feeling good about it. So I think that that's really important.
Of course, yeah.
All right. So, in your own words, what is your team's strongest asset?
I think the strongest thing about our team is we're not scared of anybody, honestly.
Ooh.
Man, I'm so scared of FTWin. You see the plus C players or just lower players, being scared. We're not that scared, I feel. We feel pretty confident and we like to communicate what we think a lot. So I feel like we have that part down, at least as a team.
That's really important. I think team communication is one of the most important things you can go into any tournament for. But especially if you can talk things out and be honest about your feelings beforehand, that's going to make everybody feel more comfortable about it.
Yeah, we're not worried. All of us aren't.
So, if you're not worried about anyone, who would you rather face in the finals between Freeze and FTWin, and why?
I want to see Freeze win, honestly, because we're really good friends, like all of us. So I really want to play Freeze in grand finals.
Okay.
Um, I don't, I don't know. I just want to play Freeze. I don't feel that scared against anybody else.
Anything that you have to say to the fans of Starburst and the viewers of the broadcast today?
I hope you actually enjoy watching the tournament. We'll try to actually make it competitive and really fun to watch. And I guess to our fans, thank you for supporting us the whole time. I know Hanron supports us and a lot of people on Twitter, so specifically the Saishin Chitai people. I see them on Twitter a lot about us, and it's kind of cool seeing them, root for us all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's always feels really good to know that your fans are behind you.
hmm
All right, so my fun question for you, what's your favorite piece of gear in Splatoon 2?
Favorite piece of gear? It'd have to be the bucket hat, bro. That thing's so stylish. I get roasted all the time for liking that. But it's like, bro, you ever been looking online? You look up right now, Gucci bucket, Gucci bucket hat. Look it up right now. I guarantee you. Tell me that's not stylish.
All
Come
right,
on.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it. All right, here we go. Yeah, I mean, it takes a certain kind of person to be able to pull off the look, but if you got it, flaunt it, right?
For real. It's such a good hat.
It's awesome. Perfect. All right, so thank you so much, Jared. Go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you. Shout out your social media for everyone.
You can find me on JaredSPL at JaredSPL on Twitter, and my Twitch is origami 2 eyes underscore, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you all the best in the tournament to come, and I hope that you're having a great rest of your day. Back to you, Kbot.
Some very insightful words there from Jared. Obviously, Starburst really looking forward to this rematch versus FTWin in the grand final. As well, I imagine, as FTWin. Prodigy, of course, you were casting that set where Starburst took it 5-2. And you have to imagine that FTWin is coming back with this with a vengeance.
Definitely with a vengeance and with a shack. So I mean that's a really key thing to, again, we've been hammering it, but it is very, very important. Shaq is not only a in-game leader, but also just a vocal leader for the team as well. So having that person is gonna help out a lot. Additionally, I think a lot of it's gonna come down to just how the style of play, right? We're gonna see a lot of the similar things that we saw in the Starburst versus Rift set. Only instead of double inkjets, you're going to be seeing a slosher, a tri-slosher, probably going in just as deep as an inkjet would, with Biscuit still using their inkjet. So it's going to be similar, and so we're probably going to see a game or a match that plays out, at least in terms of gameplay, similar to Rift and Starburst.
And FLC, I mean, so far we've been seeing a lot of Tri-Slosher today, especially to piggyback off of Prod's comment there. How do you think that's going to play into the dynamics of this next set?
Well, I mean, it's nice to see that we've come full circle from patch 1.0, where, for those of you who weren't around back in the good old days, triple Tri-Slosher was absolutely the thing to do back then. The thing with Tri-Slosher, and I mean, Kyo even told me, and when I was talking to him before the matches, that he kind of, in the set against Starburst, he kind of was picking things and sort of not really comfortable on them, and then he's just sort of said, you know what, I'm just going to play try hard, I'm just going to pick Tri-Slosher, easy weapon, let's just clap these kids. And not my words, not his, the last part. Yeah, I mean, like, the big thing with Tri-Slosher is that when it's kind of a bit like a brush or a lunar blaster or whatever, in that if you come anywhere near it, you are 100% done for, right? Because it's very hard to miss Tri-Slosher shots. And what that means is that if a Tri-Slosher is ever in position to do anything, like if you walk towards a Tri-Slosher, if the Tri-Slosher gets behind you, it is a guaranteed splat. And that kind of guarantee means that it completely negates movement. Like, these players are all extremely fast and very light on their feet. So if you have a weapon where that is no longer a factor against Starburst, especially who have a lot of shooter players who like to, do fancy footwork all over the place, Tri-Slosher is going to shut that down, right? So I think, especially, like, obviously the reason Tri-Slosher became a thing again was because it got buffed a bunch of times and whatever, but even still, Tri-Slosher is a weapon where it gets better the better the enemy player is, or rather, it doesn't fall off as much in relation to the enemy player's skill. So at a high level, it's absolutely a core weapon, and we can definitely see pretty much everyone who's touched the thing in this entire finals, be that Mika, Bran, or Kyo himself, has absolutely dominated on it. So I think we can definitely expect to see more of it.
Looking towards more of that, especially Rissa, as we kind of reflect on the past two sets here. Thinking about FTWin's performance, especially, obviously we know Freeze was undergoing some circumstances. How much of a statement did they make in that semifinal set, do you think, in terms of how ready they are to take back Starburst?
I think that, considering that they have already lost to Starburst in TASL, I think that, like Prodigy said, having Shaq on the roster really, really is showing through. We're really seeing how well they can synergize together. I mean, if there's two of them down, the other two members are still up there adding pressure, keeping up pressure, waiting for their teammates, and not dying while they're doing it. So I think that FTWin has already shown today that they are in it and they are prepared.
You have to imagine that they are prepared for this exact moment. This is what they've been training for. It's what everyone's been on the grind for. And I imagine these players are getting into the lobby here, so we can take our time a little bit with predictions this time around. Going around the horn, Rissa, I'll go to you first. Who do you have for this North American rematch?
Okay, so for this North American rematch, even though Starburst previously did beat FTWin, FTWin and Starburst are both playing very well today. I'm going to have to go with FTWin, just considering from what I saw from them in that last set, the way they were synergizing, the way they were pairing up their specials together. I mean, they were on it today, so I'm going to go ahead and have to pick FTWin.
Prodigy, we talked earlier, briefly, you and I, about the FTWin plot armor. Is that thick enough to withstand, so far, what we've been seeing out of Starburst, especially given their ability to ramp up later and later into the set?
Yeah, if you were to have asked me at the start of today, let's okay, Prodigy, assume that there's going to be FTWin Starburst, finals, who you're going to pick, I would have said Starburst. Seeing what has unfolded so far today, I am going to change that to FTWin. I think FTWin is looking very well oiled right now. There wasn't really a lot to criticize them in that Freeze matchup, but there still are a lot of caveats. Obviously, Freeze, we do have to admit, really wasn't playing at their full potential. Not realistically, not due to their own faults, right? So, were they really challenged enough to see any potential weaknesses that they might have today? Don't know for sure. But given what we have seen, I do have to go with FTWin for this match.
FLC, to go to you here, you spent probably the most amount of time scouring over the overhead VODs. What do your eyes have on this set?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with FTWin as well. What I was seeing, it's I have to emphasize, the FTWin versus Freeze set, yes, there were, problems in Freeze's setup and all that, but at the same time, FTWin absolutely looked excellent. And there's a sort of, I can't really go into detail, but it is like you can sort of see the difference, and Prod was kind of alluding to this, between a team that's just kind of winning because the enemy team isn't putting up a fight versus a team that is actually in the zone, on their game, absolutely ready to win this tournament. Now, that having been said, I also think that Starburst is going to be a lot more comfortable fighting against FTWin. This is the match that they've probably been most prepared for, and so I'm not expecting absolute whitewash, but at the same time, I would definitely favor FTWin.
Sounds like you three are going FTWin. I'm gonna balance y'all out a little bit, even if it is just to go for like the ha, I told you so after the fact. I honestly think that like Starburst's adaptability over what I've seen so far has not really failed them thus far, right? Versus Rift, I think they were able to pull out switching brand maybe over to that Tri-Slosher. In previous other sets, they've certainly had, that ability to change up their weapons, change up their playstyle in order to make the set more interesting later and later on. So if this set goes long, I'm looking towards Starburst to come out on top, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's the North American rematch for the TASL Season 2 Championship between Starburst and FTWin. I can't wait to see who comes out on top for this one. And of course, we've got two fantastic casters that mocked each other on Twitter earlier today. It's Nine and Ninja on the caster's desk for this one. Enjoy the set, and we will talk to you all after this.
Oh, sorry. What's that, babe? You want a European team in the grand finals of the Transatlantic Splatoon League? Yeah, well, me too, but that didn't really happen, did it, Nine? We're stuck with FTWin and Starburst, which I can't say I'm too disappointed with, but that's what we've got coming up. I'm joined today by Nine Whole Grains, and that's what we're going to be watching. Yeah, that was...
When you said you had an idea for the intro, I wondered if this was the direction you were going to take it, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. Oh, I hope you weren't expecting quality, everybody. Welcome into our championship round right here, the rematch that even though we did want to see a representative from both sides, and yes, I did as well, I can't be too disappointed with this matchup here. This was the final set that we got to see in the regular season of TASL, and there were a lot of questions about that set. How much of a difference would having Shaq back be? How much, could we expect that level of performance out of Starburst once again? And I'm happy that we're going to find those answers, at least for today.
Yeah, I can let my EU bias ride along as much as I want, but it is definitely still, two teams that they deserve it. They've proven they deserve it. They're very, very strong. And not only that, seeing that rematch, as you said, is going to be very, very something, that I'm interested to see. It's FTWin with, back to their, I was going to say a new look, but actually it's more back to their old look, back to their dominant look. And to Starburst, that's been on a bit of a hot streak. Had its trouble against a Rift earlier, as the analyst went over. They had some difficulties playing that series, but they did manage to take it out in the end. And now they're going to have to go against FTWin. Can they keep up this hot streak that they've been on so far? Or is it going to be FTWin, going back to their old ways and taking a massive title championship? Or championship title, I should say.
Yeah, and the interesting part of it, too, is they went all splat zones. Again, you can see right here on your screen. Yeah, it's all splat zones here for Starburst. Musselforge, Wahoo, and Inkblot. We talked about it. Like, how are you feeling about this?
I will say, I think that was a mistake on my end. I accidentally said Musselforge, that should be splat zones, the first one. And that's my bad. I edited it, but I don't think it got across. I will say, so the second map should be Humpback, and that's my bad, guys. So don't blame production. That is all on me. Either way, it is all splat zones still. Yeah, I will say they went all splat zones, and this was planned, beforehand. This was planned with their map list weeks and weeks in advance. I would say that, due to scrims, due to knowing they're playing Rift and FTWin, they probably decided, splat zones is clearly the mode we're going to want to play against, these guys. However, they now can't change it because you have 4 maps locked in, and you can pick 3 out of those 4. So they're stuck with 4 splat zones no matter the results. I don't know how they're going to feel about it. I wouldn't feel too happy considering how those platforms went against Rift. I mean, they went 2-2 in them, but, as all of your counter picks against FTWin, I wouldn't be too excited if I was Starburst.
Yeah, and, they were locked into it, but they have to feel something, right? And FTWin has been, and you had a great interview with Bursty, talking, they have gone on record saying that Splat Zones they feel is their weakest mode. But them getting the win that they did in the zone, I think, makes a huge, huge difference here. We haven't even talked about the map that we're going to see here at the start, though. The neutral, the true neutral that everybody wants to go to.
Yep.
MakoMart Splat Zones. Or are you Mako? I forget. I've had it out with your with your dear friend Dragonudo on this, but where do you
see
fall?
That's the thing is me and Toby are on opposite sides. So you might think, they're both Brits, they're gonna fall on the same spectrum. No, I am Mako. I am hard Mako on this one. I won't get too hard into the debate on this one, but yeah, definitely, when we're saying neutral map picks, this is definitely a good example of a neutral map pick. However, FTWin definitely, I would say, prefer this map compared to Starburst. If we're going to compare these two teams, they'd probably be happier about the fact it's a neutral map pick, but no, neither of them picked it. Splat Zones, MakoMart, the first game of the Grand Final of the Transatlantic Splatoon League. Here we are at Type 9.
Here we are indeed, and you can take a look. Both sides are going to be bringing in double armor with the Tri-Slosher as well as the Junior. We're going to hop over here to Ant's perspective already. He has had quite a day, and we were informed that earlier there was no VC. I wonder if VC is on for this one, Matt.
I suppose it would be as he starts moving up and takes the zone with the Junior. That's going to be Starburst with the early advantage with their comp right here, but they do lose Brand early on. It's a trade though. Shaq gets traded out, but it's another trade. A 2v2 situation as Biscuit pops this inkjet and tries to move forward, putting a lot of pressure on Ice, and that will be FTWin with the man advantage. Jared getting taken out, and that's going to be FTWin cleaning up the first team fight win. And oh no, you don't want to see that. Brand dropping early, and Biscuit taking that delayed, third kill will actually get FTWin up in a really good position to try and lock this out now.
So FTWin, right? They're willing to give it up at the start so they can set up the way that they want to break through. They find the small openings here. They recognize them so quickly, and they are perfectly content holding on to it. But you see there, they do have to move back. Jared diving in, maybe just a little bit too far. They are going to get at least a little bit of control, but if Brand goes down here, they might lose it already. Going in for a fight, and Ice isn't even going to be able to get the revenge here. This is going bad poorly.
And now we're seeing something from FTWin that I've seen this all throughout TASL, and I love it. They are so good at just moving backwards, letting you feed into zone, not taking those fights, and then walking back on you when you both tend to use your resources. Brand does get to trade on Joe, though. Does make it a lot more even, and does take out, that primary guy that's making all the calls right now. So it will be a more even fight as Starburst start popping their specials to take the zone. But FTWin, again, looks like they kind of gave it to him there, just kind of waiting for Bursty's armor. And now they've popped it, they're going to be going in. Does look like they got a jump out, but they do manage to take out Shaq with right there, but not without trading Bursty. It's a very, very even fight here, but it looks like Joe on the flank is able to take out enough. And it should be FTWin taking this, but Brand on the flank right now is able to find someone as well. That's going to be Biscuit going down, and armor popped. Starburst is still in this fight, 9.
I was going to say, where was zone there? Objective? Was it being played? Who was playing it where? They just continue to trade players all around the map. But, you brought up a great point in the middle of all that, too. They're willing to give up the zone if it means that they don't have to give up the entirety of the map and they get to move themselves around. Really, right now, it's been Ice's Suction Bomb Rush that have been the only reason that Starburst has really been able to capitalize on the zones. It's been much more set play, but FTWin has been able to move people up. You saw right there. They pushed in, they took one down, they got the revenge kill, and they went back to mid. They said, you come to us, we know you're building up 4 specials, we will wait, and Brand goes down again. Biscuit is playing out of his mind.
2 go down to Biscuit for Ant's armor, and he jumps out as well. That armor was completely negated, and there's only 20 points left. And can only just start farming up his armor now. There's 20 points left, not going to be enough time. They will have time for Brand's armor to come online as well as the Suction Rush. So they have the special resources. They just need to be able to do something for them. And right now, they're distracted by Shaq. You need to look at zone, but they finally start moving towards it along with the bomb rush. They should hopefully be able to get a cap hit, and they do, but not without losing 2 members. And pop the solo armors, but these armors are finding no value as, yeah, they get the zone, but now they're forced back, and even have so much control winning team fight after team fight. At least they get the recap, they get the 50 penalty points, but FTWin, they're moving up with an armor. Inkjet right away into that spawn. Oh my god, this is a clinic for FTWin.
The spawn, what in the world? Finally, mercifully, Shaq goes down at the end of an absolute reign of terror. But once again, it's Biscuit camping on this side here. The drop, this is where he's been the entire time. But look, as soon as they jump in, he's been painted behind. He's already back in. Where is he at now? You have to have an armor to go approach, and they have to get up there closely, but now again there's already 2 down. Biscuit had moved all the way over there and was just able to shoot at 3 short-range weapons. Ant is going to jump back here, not even try And what a dominating opening game for FTWin playing their brand of Splatoon 2.
What a dominating game indeed. You know, it was looking up fairly even at the start, but no. Once FTWin got back control, they played it exactly how they wanted to. They looked, I don't know, they looked perfect that game. They looked unbeatable. Honestly, that sort of FTWin, I don't know if any team in the world is going to beat them playing at that level of prestige. I loved seeing that play. And honestly, you know, I'm not trying to throw flame just because I think that Bursty was playing so well, but I think a lot of that came down to a junior difference. You found Bursty always, you know, I don't know if it was whether the calls or whether the team as a whole, but he was always using the armors when they had people ready to go immediately back in, and when Starburst were overextended and they were ready to punish Starburst. And on the other hand, was always popping the armors when, you know, a couple of teammates were down, it wasn't the best situation, they weren't ready to go in, which didn't have them finding the same level of value. And maybe that was just due to FTWin completely overrolling them, you know, not allowing Ant to find those good situations. But you can't deny that Bursty was able to find so much more value on that junior.
Bursty absolutely was. And, you know, to that point that you made there at the end of, you know, maybe it was just a matter of timing here. One of the things that FTWin is so good about, and I remember talking to Shaq about this way back when Hexen became their coach, is the macro game. I know it sounds simple, but they have such a fantastic understanding of what the small openings are. And when you play a more isolated style of game like Starburst does, there are the moments, there are the openings that you can go in and attack. And I mean, there were a couple of times where the armor went up, and then before the armor even landed on the other players, they were down. Like, it wasn't that it was a mistimed armor. It was the, like, the one that Biscuit got, that double, it was like, the armor didn't land yet. Hold on a second.
That's actually a perfect example. I wasn't even really thinking of that, but that situation, and did press the armor button when full members of the team were alive, but then suddenly Biscuit just walks in, 2 members of the team go down before they get the armor, so at that point, as the junior player, you're just sitting there crying.
I did my job. What?
Yep. I mean, maybe that's where the special power came from a while ago, but you know, that's for another day. We're going on to Humpback Splat Zones. Another Splat Zones? I would say that some people could say this is a similar map. However, I would say not so much. I don't know. It has a similar sort of style, but it's kind of a small, closed-in map, but I feel like it plays pretty differently, but I can't quite put my finger on why.
Yeah, no, I think you're right here. And we actually, this is one of the few map modes that we see Biscuit trade off. I don't know if he's going to trade off, but we have seen him play Explosher here. I think it really disrupts the way that FTWin likes to play. I know that it's good here. It wouldn't surprise me if they've kind of hashed that one out and decided if it's good, we'll go with it. If not, then we're not even going to bother with it. But this is going to give Ice an opportunity. That last game, I don't know if you saw the numbers, Ice sitting at 1 splat and assist. He's going to need a little more here, and this is a map where he might be able to do that.
Kyo putting himself in pain once again. He's on the K-Map for the second time this tournament, and I don't mind this pick, though. Normally, I'm not massive on the whole Rapid idea, but I feel like against these Charger-based teams, Torpedoes can just be so annoying as a Charger player, as FTWin now move up and try and take the zone, which they'll want to have to be able to take advantage of that, but it's not going to work out, actually. Ice finds the second pick on the bursting after Biscuit goes down, and that's going to be FTWin getting right out of there, and Starburst actually finds, finally, first time in the series, some really good solid control that they need.
Just going to point out, Ice has already doubled his splats and assists from last game. The game had been going on for 15 seconds and he had already doubled it. So we said he was going to have to come big and then he'd have the opportunity to. And look at this. From this position, he's going to be able to influence everywhere that FTWin goes. Brought 2 people over to Brand. Brand took 2 out there. They have Jared where they want. And now this is where they can get a little creative. In some of the earlier sets against Rift, this is where they maybe got a little bit too heavy-handed with their attack. But look at this. They are going to wait for FTWin to come to them.
Starburst look like they're playing a much more comfortable game than they were earlier. Potentially not ready for what Rift was throwing at them, and they're ready for FTWin though. They take out Shaq, they're able to all live through an eject, no one going down. There's 10 points left and they've got their entire team alive. Jared finally goes down and FTWin, I'm getting zone. Brand wasn't paying quite enough attention to the zone, and actually it will be FTWin potentially taking the team fight win, but no, Brand's going on the hero play right now. Walks in and takes out Kyo, pops this eject, turns the zone in his favor, gets Bursty as well. Oh, Brand! An amazing play from him, walking up and being the real hero for his team. Yeah, they lose the zone, but now they're back in control. And again, Starburst just looked so much more comfortable. I feel like maybe they weren't ready for the way Rift are playing, and they just understand FTWin better, because this definitely looks like a much more comfortable Starburst.
And it's a more comfortable Starburst here, and it really does again show what they are good at here. You talked about a hero play right there. We talked about Ice opening the game up here. We talked about Jared being in position. This is what they do, and when it works, it's so beautiful to watch. You can see they're maybe getting caught a little bit too far off. Kyo's going to push them back, and this is going to be a fairly easy recap. But it's also another situation sometimes where you think, hey, what is your set play? Like, we don't believe that you can put together 4 specials that can get past ours. We had our specials here. Ice was in the position he needed to be, and I think they're going to continue to trade that there, but now it's going to be their own set play that's put to the test.
Yeah, their set play is walking with 3 specials, and that they will. Bran does get taken down before he can use those, though, so you can't increase that to 4. And Starburst get the recap. That's very, very nice. You're putting FTWin behind 27, but they're not getting much control. And in fact, they're giving a lot of time for FTWin to start now moving up. That, honestly, was their opportunity, because they lost that fight, but they lost it with 3 specials still at the ready to go back in. Now they have nothing. They just got the Inkjet back online, they just got the armor back online, but nothing else. And FTWin are now going to walk into their spawn with 4 specials. This is what FTWin likes to do, 9.
It is, and this is, again, a crazy Inkjet fight that isn't going to have any bearing on the battle. It's going forward at the zone. He's going to land, and how did you survive that? Was that just a miss? I don't understand. Biscuit's saying this way, hey guys, everyone is over here. He's going to get out there. People are going to rotate over. That's 2 down. Jared's going to have an opportunity to get there. It's going to be the 2 CDS engaged. They're going to have to find a way through. Kyo rotates back over. Not like this.
Not like this. This is not what Starburst want. There's only 10 points remaining. They're about to lose the lead, and they don't really have anything to go in with. They're going to have to just walk in with armor. But I mean, do you think FTWin are really going to let you just walk in with armor? No, it's not that sort of level. FTWin shut down Starburst on their first map pick and go up 2-0 in the series. How well played from them.
How well played, and take a look at that at the very end. How did that not recap? Unbelievable. But Matt, you laid it out absolutely perfectly right there. There was an opportunity where Starburst could come back in with 3 specials, but it just all dilapidated so quickly. They went down so quickly that they used their specials and got nothing out of it. It was one small little moment of control, but it gave up way too much on the other side. When FTWin is in your spawn with 4 specials, at the very least, they're going to score a lot, and in most cases, they take the victory as they did right there.
I feel like something I observed watching that game, I might be right or not on, but it feels like as soon as Starburst had control, they had a really, really solid system of keeping that control. They knew where to position everyone, they knew when they wanted to use their specials and how they wanted to push, and it was working really well. I feel like as soon as FTWin finally got, back into zone, not just recapping, they took the zone, they took control of the map. What they did is they just completely broke part of that system. They went for, some crazy trades into their spawn. They pushed really aggressively with their specials. They tried to, pick people off really early and aggressively. And by doing that, they just broke apart Starburst's system. And then Starburst from there didn't really know where to go. And they just kind of got lost.
Yeah, well, I mean, just take a look even at the MakoMart game. We talked about that situation where Biscuit was watching the drop down on the right side. They finally get 2 people over there to push him back. Then they lose sight of him because there's just too much going on in the map. And then when they try to come in from one side, Biscuit was like, yeah, I knew you were there. I'm just going to fire that way. So again, it's one of those situations where the style of game that FTWin plays, where they're constantly moving around, they're constantly finding the small openings to get in and out. It just means that you kind of don't know where to shoot. Yeah. And as soon as you start shooting or you commit to making a push in, FTWin, when they're in their advantage state, has the opportunity to punish you to the fullest extent.
And if you want to talk about, getting into FTWin's comfort positions and walking into your spawn, this is the perfect map mode to do so. I mean, I forgot who it was that said FTWin normally described this as their auto win map, but I don't think they haven't knocked this out so far in TASL. And they've played it every single set they've played in. So that says a lot about FTWin. I think it makes sense. Did you see that free set? Kyo just walked into their spawn and killed 3 at one point because they weren't really making any progress. This is the perfect FTWin map. It's quintessential in a way. And Starburst being already 2-0 down in this situation, probably not too comfortable going in here.
No, you can't feel comfortable in this, and especially when you were so close to winning on your counter pick. It's just a horrible thing to face here. You may be going down 0-3, but to their credit, they did drop a few games earlier and were able to bring it back here. So even if this game doesn't go in their favor, just being able to keep this close would be huge for their confidence, and we saw in the earlier set what a little confidence can do for this roster.
Oh, a little confidence for this roster can do a lot and kind of turn a lot around. I mean, we've seen our fair share of turnarounds in TASL from, Rift Radiance, Rift being down like 4-1 at some point, and etc., etc. It happens. It really does, especially at this level where players are able to keep their head straight. So we'll just have to wait and see if they're able to do this. Just getting their last things together, getting their weapon picks together, and we are actually going to see something different from Starburst. I feel like they've lost enough to FTWin here. They're going to try something new. They have Jared on the V-Splash and Bran on the Zap, giving themselves double armor and an Inkjet spam.
It is, and we saw Bran go with this pick earlier on their last tower control game here. Wow, yeah, Jared is already down here. I was about to say, I guess this has to be something that they've prepared for this map. Like, there's no other reason that I feel like you would make such a drastic shift in your comp, but already that's 2 down. Brand's going to have to rotate down. He's basically out. Ice is out. This is getting ugly very quickly.
Brand popped the armor in a 2v4 situation, not really able to walk in and find much value with it either, so that's going to be FTWin taking him out and just moving forwards, and I'm not feeling too confident right now if I'm Starburst. I feel like, honestly, if I was them, I'd walk back into our own spawn and just play, get all our specials, because it's so scary when you're in this situation against FTWin. They're just up on their flat, punishing any sort of mismovement and mismanagement. They need their special to shut down this push, and it's just going, like every other single FTWin Musselforge DC.
It is, and there was even a great moment right there where you saw Bursty move back just a little bit to make sure the bombs could go away, and that allowed Kyo to move up all the way over on this side where he has been for really the last 30 seconds of the game. They're going to try to make a play here, just trying to throw everything they have at the tower. Kyo actually has time to come and loop back around, and a fantastic punishment there by Ice is at least going to mitigate a little bit of the damage, but like you said, man, they call it auto-win for a reason.
Yeah, they call it auto-win for a reason, but potentially there, we just stop out the knockout elite. We do see Biscuit getting taken down. That's only 2 people pushing off of this from the FTWin side. They finally pop a 4-man armor and they start moving in on Shaq and Bursty. Shaq does pop those missiles, but not so much value, and it will be Joe moving on to their side of the platform. They're able to trade with Ice, but potentially not what they want. It will most likely be an FTWin staying in mid, but they're definitely going to knockout. Yeah, they are in a 3v2 situation, so it is looking good for them, but the members of Starburst now backing up and trying to wait for the members, but Brian goes down without popping the armor, and goes down too, so no, FTWin just continued pushing this right now with an inkjet.
Oh my god. Biscuit, chill. Oh, he didn't jump out. He tried to be crafty with coming back in, and that's the other thing about this, man. What is this comp going to do to Biscuit? Like, not almost eats this alive.
And that's it. Regardless the result of the rest of this series, FTWin have a 100% knockout rate on TC Musselforge. I mean, look at the map right now. Look at that purple. That was dominant for FTWin. Yeah, they got slowed down a little bit at the start, but I mean, that wasn't nearly close. And that's 3-0 up for FTWin so far. All knockouts.
All knockouts. And Game 2, such a heartbreaking loss, especially with the way that Game 1 and now Game 3 have gone. And especially because that's, again, both Splat Zones maps that have already gone the other way. That's all your counter picks. And man, this is so brutal. Starburst has made some swaps. They had, it looked like something that they were trying specifically on that map that didn't seem to go their way. And now they have to go on to another FTWin counter pick.
This will actually be a neutral pick coming up.
Oh, this is the neutral pick. Yes.
We're on neutral. We're on neutral. Which I'd say they feel a little bit more assured with this neutral pick. They had such a even though they've not picked any Rainmakers, it's all zones. They did have a nice Rainmaker game against Rift. You know, the classic Game 9. They just walked in, and this is the map they wanted to play on. We see earlier they have Splat Zone's Humpback locked in. You know, on that second thing. I feel like we'll most likely see custom jet squad from both sides. You know, not 100% sure yet, but I'd say they definitely feel more comfortable about this map than any of the other 3 so far.
Yeah, yeah, if this is where you go for one, why not go with it here again? And this does give the opportunity for some more of the backdoor plays and the isolation plays that we are so used to seeing from Starburst here. And it's a wide enough map that they should be able to separate if they need to. I'm really curious what Brand is going to go here. Because I think at this point we can pretty well establish that the NZAP is what he's going to use on tower control. The L3, he's used a little bit of everything, but it really was the try that opened it up, and it worked the last time they went on Rainmaker. Why not try it again? But that is, I think, the answer that we need to find. They really, really aren't going to get too many opportunities on this map. They need to make the ones that they do get count.
They need to make them count, and we'll have to see how they're going to get that to work. Honestly, I'm worried for them, considering how it's gone so far. But the fact that they had such a great system in place on Humpback on Splat Zones, I feel like they have a good understanding of this map and how to control it. If they can keep that system going when they're moving up onto their side of the map and moving up their plat, it could definitely work. And I could see that. I's a team-based player. I'm sure he knows how what he's doing on that Stingray, which, we're going to see. And combining that with Brand's Inkjets, the Cloud, just moving up on that plat, I can see a really good system in place here and a really good system working. So we're going to have to see if they can take advantage of that. No Stingray from FTWin.
Yep, I mean, isn't that just such a classic thing here? They say we're going to use our bombs, we're going to decide where you stop, and eventually something will crack. And already separating them around here, Kyo gets one and a shot on the other. That's a couple armors knocked off as well. They hold their position pretty well, and that's going to be 3 down. So, hey, we talked about the opportunity. Not going to get one much better than this.
Yeah, this is a great early opportunity. Shag does get out though, he has the missiles, but no other specials online for FTWin, not even really close yet. They're starting to approach that cloud of armor, but yeah, it's pretty far away. The missiles do create an opening on that shoulder. That is very, very nice for FTWin, considering they're going to want to find that space. And they find Jared again too. The inkjet is popped from Brad along with his income to try and find some space, but look, they're being popped with this armor, inkjet, and cloud. It's such a nice combination. They can just walk over Starburst right now. No one on FTWin's side going down. Starburst being forced back into their spawn, and Jared's going to try and recontest mid, but he really doesn't want to go down for the third time here.
Oh, and he dives in. He gets it. What a gamble to keep the game in front of them. And now it's just going to be Bisky. Yeah, he's going to jump out. Jared's going to have the opportunity to paint up. He's going to have his cloud here very shortly, too. They're going to opt to go for the left. Very interesting. Jared can win the game, but he falls. I don't want that at all.
Didn't want that at all. That could have been so clutch. I actually love that play. They move the Rainmaker left. They make all of FTWin look that way while Jared's on the flank, but dropping down, but I mean, I've got to give it to FTWin. They played so fast and they didn't give Jared a chance to, get the flank off in the first place. FTWin, that push being stopped early, it looks like they're going to try and keep something going here, but I feel like if the respawn's coming through for Starburst, it will most likely be them taking control. Yep, FTWin are going to back off to mid and try and get some jumps in there. Starburst retakes control of their side of the map, but look, Shag knows how to play this game. You don't always need to go in and take the stupid fights. Let's just charge my missiles up.
Charge them up here. Brand going into a 3. He's going to find a way to retreat here. Careful, they do clean him up, so they are going to be able to maintain control of the middle, like you said there. But, something to a point that you said earlier of the way that FTWin defends, that is the one thing about not having a Stingray. You are so active. When you throw a couple bombs, you throw a cloud out, you get to move in. You get to decide where you're going next, whereas you don't have that option with one of the more defensive hold-back type of specials. So it just all goes back to their philosophy of being active, finding the openings, and moving through there. They are going to create a little bit of an opening here. That's going to be the inkjet out. Where's Burst going to go with this? Is he going to come back to mid just to try to avoid it and give him the chance to grab it? It looks like that is the case. But this has been a much better game from Starburst, and I think everything that you've said so far, Matt, has come through.
Yeah, these guys have really kept it, on hold right now. I was really scared at the start of the game when they lost Jared. I was scared it was just going to be gone. But since then, they've managed to keep things together. Their system's been in place, and it's working really well. Nice punish on Cho just before he gets armor. And they do have the missile inkjet combination. Will be interesting to see if they utilize the inkjet alongside it. Most likely, Shag's just trying to put some extra pressure with the missiles. But no, the inkjet is going to come through with Biscuit. Going to see if he can find some hits onto the middle of the map, but nothing yet so far, actually, but Jared walking into a bomb he didn't see.
We were talking about this in the Analyst 2. FLC talked about how big of a deal it is when you just go down to a random bomb. It means the opponent just basically took you out for free, is able to move out and do whatever they want. And you saw right there, they grabbed the Rainmaker just to buy a little bit of time for the Stingray. It wasn't enough time, Matt. They are going to be able to get the lead here. They're on this side. It looks like they might close. But wait, no, someone's coming around on the flank. Who is that? Well, whoever it is, they're down now. I think it was Kyo. But man, a second, man, that's all it takes, this team.
You know what I love FTWin is they don't respect what the other team's doing. They just do their own thing. Earlier when Jared was flanking, they just ignored it and they walked onto Rain for Jared to get an opportunity, regardless of him dropping. Right there, they just didn't respect, Starburst, Stingray getting ready for that defense. They just walked through the Stingray, they moved forward, and they got so many points so fast and it paid out. FTWin doesn't need to respect their opponents, but they can just play their own style and play it so well. But they do lose Bursty when he has that armor ready, so that is going to be a scary situation from now on mid, especially with Cho getting caught out on the shark. This is actually Starburst's chance now to start moving forward and find this opportunity.
It is. Keep a look at the top of your screen that the armor has already been used. That's already 3 specials used, so Jared's going to have to do this the honest way on the front. He may end up getting close to his special here at the start, but they are going to lose the Rainmaker already. That's 2 specials from FTWin. If they're able to maintain some semblance of control of this elbow, they might get another counter, but they aren't. Kyo is going to run right in, get taken down. What are they going to do here with this Rainmaker? Are they going to let it reset? Are they going to try to grab it? It looks like right now Jared's staying around to keep a threat. Is he going to touch it? No, he opts to bail. Probably the wiser choice right here, but look at all that paint they had on that side. There was an opportunity for some quick points. We are down now to the final 30 seconds.
I think that Rainmaker there was definitely bait. It looked very, very nice to grab, but you're not getting it to 25. I think it was smart of Jared to back up, and he does lose himself now, but he was able to trade Joe, so it's a much better situation for his team. Moving up with this Ray and Inkjet is what Starburst are going to be doing it, and they move forward though, but they only have 10 seconds. You don't want to risk going for a YOLO push when you are in effectively overtime. If you go down here, you're not going to win. You're going to be almost out of TASL or down to match point, so they need to find the big push here, but
no.
It's only Jan.
Just how quick. It was all up. Let's build the hype. 3 are down.
Yeah. I think FTWin, from what we've seen so far, are just the most disciplined team, in my opinion. they're able to play so disciplined. They wait for their opportunity to go in their specials. They wait for the time where they're going to find, the biggest value on their defense, the best time, to defend on the defense, the time they're going to find the most value with their pushes, and they go at those opportunities. They don't go for, these, lucrative, we might be able to push here, it looks pretty nice. They're very, very disciplined, and that's why I love so much about FTWin.
And I want to point out the most Shaq stat line that I have ever seen. 5 splats and assists, 9 missiles, and 50 million bombs thrown. Like, that is such a... and the W, the most important stat of all this.
And the W.
But that is such a Shaq stat line. And in your interview with Bursty, he talked about how bombs are so broken, and people don't talk about how broken bombs are. They had 4 lethal bombs in their team that time. When the opposing team gets to the elbow on that map, just throw 2 bombs. Like, it's going to be enough chip damage that if Kyo is around there playing any of his AoE weapons, he's going to be able to clean up. If you throw a Storm over there, perfect. Storm plus 1 bomb, that's probably going to take down somebody, and then they just have to simply execute from there. Inkjet for chip damage plus a bomb. It all starts to add up so quickly. And again, you talk about discipline. It's easy to be disciplined when the bombs are doing the work.
It's very easy to be disciplined, but again, that's something that I love about Shaq. I think Shaq is such a disciplined player. It's so kind of tempting as shot to think, oh, I'm the slaying weapon. I'm the front. I'm the aggro. I'm going to walk forwards and shoot all the time. But on that map, we saw so many times. I think there was one engagement where Shaq was just walking around charging missiles, which is fair before the fight. He uses missiles, his team starts going in, and he's like, well, there's not really a safe engagement for me to take here. So rather than risking throwing for my team, why don't I just go back and charge another set of missiles? And then he uses another set of missiles in the same fight. That is the most Shaq thing in the world, but it's also such a smart thing to do.
Really is. Here we are, everybody. Starburst on tournament point. It feels like so long ago that this started, and it already might be over. Kyo going to be going back to the K-Rabbit. That's how you know he wants to win, Matt. That's how you know he is all
this W. Popping the armor early as Bertie moves on to stone, but does get pushed off by Ice. Inkstorm being used too, and FTWin actually taking an early cap, something a bit unconventional from them. Normally they're the team trying to come in second. That's going to be Starburst here, and Starburst potentially paying off with it. They actually do take out Shaq, but they do lose Grant in the inkjet, so it's still an even situation. So for FTWin...
and potentially try and retake pretty quick. And that is the one thing about Kyo playing the K-Rapid here. He's going to have a very difficult time moving back in when he does get forced out unless they have that armor. And you see right now, Bursty is happy to be very, very patient. They are finally able to pick out Jared, maybe diving in a little bit too deep. And they do have a very nice Biscuit Inkjet as well to kind of open things up. Shaq back here on the CDS, this is a really natural fit for him on this map. I love the way that he's able to go around and play a little bit more safely while continuing to pester the opponent.
Yeah, and Shaq getting that pick on twice is going to allow FTWin to just start doing their wall force. Yeah, look at that, there's FTWin right there, just 3 people walking up together, but it didn't pay out FTWin. Actually, FTWin, my words, Kyo getting taken out by the Inkjet, another getting taken out by the Inkjet, Shaq getting forced out. Starburst has been in pretty good control of this game so far, actually.
Yeah, that was actually, we've been talking so much about saving Inkjets and sometimes saving them a little bit too long. That was the perfectly timed Inkjet, right? They're like, okay, there's one over there, and then the person pops up flying into the air with a majestic one-shot Inkjet here that just completely derails that entire situation. But now Ice is once again going to have the opportunity to really be oppressive here on this side, and they're going to go ahead and get one already. Thank goodness the armor is going to be able to save Bursty. They are running out of time already. The baller coming in. This is all 4 specials in the set play. It gets pushed back here, and Bursty taken down by Jared. He's going to get the opportunity to come back here and go on the flank if they so choose. They have to now account for that. That's going to be another one down. I don't think they're going to be able to get back, Matt.
No, that should be the Starburst knockout. Unless anything crazy happens and they let anyone through, it should be the Starburst knockout here. We just have to see them play this smart. Shaq's going to try and come in on the side angle. He does take out Giant, but it shouldn't be enough time, and they do. They take it. That's going to be Starburst finding their footing in this series, and I honestly really like that. To me, that reminded me of the Humpback game, but with more confidence. They were playing like they were with their system set in place, but every now and then, they would start moving up to try and find, that extra bit of aggression, that extra pick to not allow FTWin to find the space in the series. And honestly, if Starburst can play like this for 4 games in a row without letting FTWin find their comfort, then they can take TASL, but it's an uphill climb to find this reverse sweep. And the first map coming up is an FTWin counter pick, but FLC earlier said that he actually favors Starburst on most of the Clan Blitz maps.
Yeah, he thinks that it's perhaps one of Starburst's best modes with the way that they like to play, just in general, not necessarily based on any statistics or anything like that, but just because Clan Blitz is a mode where you want to have control of large swaths of the map at the same time. You want to be able to control the areas where there's lots of clam spawning, and really the only way to do that is to separate a little bit, and that is what they're good at. But, I mean, like you said, this is an FTWin counter pick, right? They didn't pick Clan Blitz because they feel like they're going to be beaten on Clan Blitz here, and on Sturgeon Shipyard as well. I mean, it's just cherry bombs here of Biscuit jumping down, Kyo jumping down. Once they have control, this can end in a hurry.
I mean, it's FTWin counter pick. However, unless I am massively wrong here and I'm just going to spout nonsense out of myself, I believe they've only played this once in TASL against Slaughterhouse. And the fact I do know is they actually lost this to Slaughterhouse. Extremely close game, extremely well played by Slaughterhouse, and it kind of plays a lot into their bubble spam style. However, that is a statistic that we, can bring up here. It wasn't current FTWin, and it was Slaughterhouse playing on a comfort map. It was very close, so I'll add all those asterisks. However, they did lose this, I believe, the only time they played it, which was against Slaughterhouse.
Huh. I don't have much more to add to that. I mean, the empirical evidence is the empirical evidence. I love it here, and it shows that they had to have had something, and if anything, it really speaks to Slaughterhouse. Kyo going to be going back to the K machine here. Come back with a little bit more mustard here, fighting, and also we might see a couple splashdowns land if we're really lucky. Pretty much business as usual from the rest of the squad.
Business as usual, and popping that armor early, definitely business as usual. Again, FTWin playing in the back of the map, it's the same familiar. Popping that armor late, but again, Starburst not actually feeding into that style. Yeah, they popped that armor early, but they didn't feed into the middle of the back like FTWin wanted them to, and both teams playing really, really safe here. Neither wanting to get off control, neither wanting to go down, and it will start actually with a trade, so it keeps being even on the middle of the map here, but it looks like FTWin will finally start to move up, and Splashdown finding value actually, making a lot of space, but no, FTWin actually having Kyo go in. He ended up feeding a bit there, and that's going to be Starburst taking the middle of the map really early on. Looking good at the start of the game for them.
Looking very good at the start of the game. A little score here. Jared's going to come down. They've got decent control of this area. Some decent points as well. It is going to be Ant going down, but they're going to be at least able to knock down almost to 60 points here. They're going to rotate back to the start, but Matt, seems like a little bit of impatience there from FTWin. It was a little jockeying at the start. They both kind of held it a little bit. Like you said, Starburst wasn't feeding. His ice hits a sick shot onto Kyo, and it was actually Kyo that went in early with that splashdown, maybe a little bit too committal.
I feel like both teams were trying to do the FTWin, which is sit on mid and let the other team feed, then walk in. But it looks like FTWin actually got a bit out FTWin, got a bit impatient. Starburst walked up on, they walked up on Starburst, they got punished, and they lost that mid control. And so far, Starburst has been holding it really well. Starburst looks like a team to me that as soon as they get that control, they're so good at holding it. They have such a good defensive system in place, they can really shut down these teams. And with Joe being taken out, defense can work to your offense to the greatest times.
It can indeed, and again, very, very fortunate that that was an armored inkjet there. It's really going to mitigate what Ice can do, and Ice is going to have to come all the way back. A beautiful shot onto Shaq to mitigate some of this damage. Did he just move up after hitting the shot? I'm sorry? No? Okay, I think he got out there. Only Ice, dude. Only Ice.
Yeah. Ice, I feel like throughout all of the interviews and all the discussions, Ice has been kind of rated as the worst charger out of the race. I'm not saying I think he is, I'm saying that's why he's been rated by everyone else, but he's really trying to prove himself wrong right now, playing so well so far and keeping FTWin out, but FTWin will start to move forward, but it's not like it's a solid control of mid. Starburst are definitely poking their way back in, and they actually find Biscuit, which will allow them back in. Joe actually watching Jared though, trying to take him out, but oh my god, Ice is playing so well today.
Rate him however you want. The dude is active. He is always making plays, always opening it up. And look at this. Ant had an opportunity to dive off and score there, but instead opts to come back, maintain a little bit of mid control, and wait until they can make the push count. That power clam only would have netted them 1 point. Ant too smart of a player to sacrifice himself for one measly point.
Yep, Ant's definitely too smart to do that there, but it does look like his teammate will go down on the other side of the map right now, so playing slow, giving that jumping, getting the armor, but Jared does go down. It should be FTWin be able to move back in and trying to take the middle of the map, but hopefully the armor will try and make this more even, and it does. Biscuit going down, but not without Jared being Ice being traded, which should allow FTWin to find some more control on mid, but again, it's not crazy control. They do get this score though, and they do start scoring clams. The thing is, Starburst has been in control for the entire game. They've not scored much. FTWin already almost have the lead, and that was barely any clams going in. It looks like Starburst will shut down the push, but no, actually maybe not. Joe gets a couple there, starts moving up on Ice. Ice falls into a really bad situation and still staying in, but does get taken out eventually. And even though the clam basket is closed, this is where FTWin want to be. In your spawn, getting ready to score their next push.
And it's true, they already almost have enough clams. You can see Biscuit tossing a couple out there. If they land, they're going to be able to grab it. Bursty does just that and is able to score here. One more clam will give them the lead. They certainly have the clam, although it's on Biscuit, who's currently stuck in Inkjet. Bursty moves through. Can he score any of those? No. Can they get Biscuit over there to score? And I can't believe it, a power clam and nothing more. Bend but not break on the defensive side for Starburst.
Yeah, Starburst on that defensive side did really, really well. They haven't broken that lead, and Jared moving forward, identifying where Shaq was. Shaq just sharking a bit there, getting caught out, but not without Brian getting traded in mid. So that will be Starburst getting control of mid, but not with every single player there. Should allow everyone to start moving in, especially with that pick from Biscuit. Absolutely crucial right here. Starburst, again, they're still staying in the middle of the map, but they're only with 3 people right now, and I'm sure FTWin don't want to allow that to last long as Jared goes down and FTWin start moving up.
They're starting to move up here, and again, it seems like now they're just starting to trade who is coming in and attacking at the time, and it's really just going to come down to which team loses the most for one of those little jab attacks. Biscuit's moving in right here. They have Shaq pushed up. They took the armor off of Shaq. He's saying this way. This is where the defense is. If we're going to go anywhere, it can't be this way. Biscuit's going to rotate over this way. He's going to build up his charge and try to pick somebody off in the middle. Unsuspecting. Can he get away? What a great defensive option to go down there to the bottom. That's going to be another one down. If they score here, they might be able to run the game out now, and they even have the wall up.
If they can hold a clam and throw it in overtime, as you see Ant doing, that will be the end of the game, and Starburst take their second map, going 4-2 and 9. Is this happening?
We can't say it. We can't say it. It is way too early, no. And you and I have ruined enough sets by cursing it, as is our right as commentators. But, I mean, you know, the crazy thing about that was the original opening that got Starburst that lead was that opening engagement, right? Where we said a little bit frantic at the start. You haven't really gotten into the flow of specials, the jockeying of specials at that point, because everyone, of course, starts with 0 charge on their specials. And then after that, it was a stalemate with FTWin taking control here, a point here and a point there, but Starburst held them to just enough to keep the lead, and it forced FTWin in that last 30 seconds of the game to be a little bit more desperate, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. With desperation comes overextension, and that's why Starburst was able to get that second score and end the game right there with Ant throwing a clam in overtime.
I think Starburst taking a note out of FTWin's book and playing much more disciplined than they were earlier. And I think due to their disciplined play, they're kind of exposing some weaknesses in FTWin's play themselves. However, you know, despite how strong they're looking now, it's always the however. It's the last 3 maps. They need to win all of them in this series. And look at them. TC Manta, Splat Zones Inkblot, TC Inkblot. If you want to win all 3 of those against FTWin, you're going to have to play out a monster performance.
Yeah, a monster performance, but I mean, with the way that those first couple of games looked, you've been hard-pressed to say that they were going to get 1, much less 2 here. So, again, now we're back to tower control. This is where things can get a little bit rough, as we saw earlier, but might not be the mode, maybe just the map. And again, Ice is going to have an opportunity to really influence this map. I wonder what weapon he's going to pick. I know you happen to know I forget the name of that one Splatling player that you've teamed with here. You think we'll see it from Ice?
Yeah, potentially we'll see a little bit of the Heavy Splatling remix come out. Of course, you know, Heavy Splatling remix becoming very, very famous on the map after Kaji dominating game after game after game with Kraken Paradise. You know, being such a strong pick here. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him stick to Charger. Not only is Ice just doing so well on that weapon today, but I feel like with no other backline threat from FTWin, a Charger is kind of one of the best options to deal with that sort of team and to deal with that sort of pressure. But potentially, you know, we've always seen Ice go Heavy Splatling here, so could be the comfort, could be going with what, you know, he's been playing with right now. I'm honestly on a bit of a 50-50 split on whether we'll see Firefin or Remix. And it will be the Firefin.
There it is. Firefin, very, very nice. On the other side, Bursty is going to opt to switch back now to the NZAP here. It makes a lot of sense here, especially because it's tower control. And Bran is not going to be going back to the NZAP. So, I mean, maybe it was a tower control thing before, but it appears it's not going to be the case this time.
I like that because I think they're playing back to their style. They're going to feel much more comfortable, and I think Inkjet can get some great pushes here. So I definitely respect that decision from Brand. Right now, again, very slow skirmish on mid. No one wants to overextend. No one wants to feed mid. Starburst will start to move up and try and find some space, but no, doesn't look like they want to feed. Going back a bit, then waiting until the Inkjet before they start doing anything. But the Inkjet finds the value. It starts moving forward, and finally, the first team to engage on mid will get something out of it. They find Kyo in a 4v3, but it's not like they get a full fight here. FTWin could definitely find this back if they start getting the special online, but with Bisty going down, I think that will be unlikely, especially as we see those armors come online for Starburst, and their push starts moving forwards, and there's only Bertie left alive for that snipe from Ice.
what is he going to do right now? He's just got to sit back there, hope that he can't be found. Brandon's going to do it, and he actually gives away his position with the armor here, but he had to use his armor to give his team a chance to get back in. Ice misses a couple of shots there, which is going to allow Biscuit to move up, and yeah, Ice is going to come all the way back here, understanding that this push is pretty well done, but what a fantastic opening, and it all started with that push to bait Kyo out a little bit by Ant that allowed them to sneak in Brand's Inkjet to make that push at the beginning.
Brilliant push from Starburst, but now it's FTWin's push. They pop the Inkjet, they pop 2 armors and missiles. They've used their entire catalog of specials and they find the value. They take out that frontline duo, that Jared Brand, kind of threat that's been such a presence in all of TASL, and now they can start moving up in this 4v2 situation. Ice and Ant, though, playing smart. They don't get taken out, but Shaq, again, more missiles. They're going to get moved out of that situation. We're going to have to see if FTWin can capitalize, but it looks like they're not going to. Still able to stay alive, and it's a 4v4 situation, but FTWin, even though they've used so many more specials, they still have more. They're not giving the space to Starburst to allow them to build their own. They're able to break that checkpoint, and they keep moving forward with more armors and more Inkjets, and it's so hard for Starburst to find any space, and finally they falter, they lose Jared, and they're approaching the last checkpoint.
Unbelievable right here. If they take it the distance here, it is entirely because of Shaq's ability to stay alive on this side. The entire time they had to focus shooting here, well, Shaq was just able to trade paint and build up more specials to use for the attack. It does look like with just one player left, it's going to be finally a successful defense, but goodness gracious, again, man, it's just one opening. That's all FTWin needs.
It is all they need, but this is the thing. Manta Maria tower control, I've seen more than enough games where both teams end up breaking that last short plane, and FTWin didn't even manage to accomplish that, but they take out Ant on mid. That's actually huge for them, and now they can start moving up with another missile from Shaq. 5 missiles in the first 3 minutes of the game. Yeah, that's Shaq, and they're moving up with an Inkjet too. Armor pop just for safety, and this is FTWin finding that opening pick, finding that opening situation, and using all of their specials one by one to find the pressure, but they pop all 4, and that leaves Starburst with 3 specials. Definitely an advantage here if they can find the value that FTWin were able to find with their own.
Right, and that's going to be an Inkjet already being tossed out, not going to be able to find much there. It looks like maybe used a little bit more to stop a push, but FTWin immediately is just like, yeah, we'll just back up. Sure, like, we don't have to push. You can use it to defend, and we'll just allow you to do that, save a couple of our specials. Are going to be 2-1 going down for each side here, so back to a neutral situation. This was the spot where Jared was at the very opening push here. Of course, this weapon does a great job at warding people off from trying to come on the tower. It can do so very non-committally here, but you see now they are able to push up at it, and mid had collapsed as well. And poor Jared, probably thinking that the right move was to back up. Turns out all the rest of his team had given up mid. Ice, who was already in the back of the map, has to jump all the way back. And now look at this. They're going to have 3 specials on this push, and Kyo is already in.
And I doubt it's going to take Bertie long to get that armor. They pop all 3 at once, making that combination go off. Bertie's going to move up. Sorry, Biscuit's going to move up with that angel while everyone's getting chipped off, and he has that armor, and they're going to find Jared off it. Everyone getting forced off. They can't help him, but they actually find a trade when FTWin use 3 specials. That's definitely on Guy Critic, but Kyo doesn't need specials.
This is what we say. This is what he said. Him being in position at the start of that was already so important. They didn't have to wait for him to get where he needed to be because he was already there, falling down. Now Shaq gonna dance on the tower to push it through here. Kyo is making another loop, but Biscuit's there as well. Shaq and Ant dancing on the tower. It's just going to be Shaq now who is going to go down here in a 1v2, but they're so good at setting those situations up, and so often we talk about the set play here, all the things that it takes to make a push in the tower, how nice it is to start your push with your forward-most player already being in the exact position.
There's only 15 seconds left, but all I can say is winnable. They pop that Alma Inkjet early. They want to find the value. I'm unsure about this play. They need to find immediate value, but they actually do. They find Kyo. If they can find more of this could be absolutely huge. They pop that cloud. They need to push up with it, though. If they don't find anything else with all of these specials, it's going to be so bad for them. They're popping the ball so early, and this is what FTWin wants. They want you to expend your resources so they can come back in with their own. And right now on tower, look at all of that damage coming in. Of course, it's going to get taken out, but not with a few going down, but that's going to be it. Brain goes down, and FTWin take it. 5-2. Only losing 2 games in this entire Grand Finals day, and they take the Transatlantic Splatoon League Season 2, putting themselves on the top of the Western scene.
Congratulations to FTWin for their victory, and in doing so, reversed what happened last time where they lost 5-2 to Starburst. There were a lot of questions. What would bring back Shaq do? Was it an off day? Well, here's your answer. Today, FTWin gets the better of them. 5-2, 4 consecutive victories at the start. A very nice comeback from Starburst there. Had us thinking, had us wondering with 2 very convincing games here. But with FTWin, even if you get a couple of victories, they are going to figure something out. And I mean, Matt, what an absolute pleasure to watch this level of Splatoon. 4 knockouts over the course of the 7 games.
This level of Splatoon was very, very high today. I'm lost for words, honestly. The teams both played so well, but I think FTWin's level right now can't be understated as a team. They looked so incredibly strong there. I feel like their understanding of how to play the game individually, as well as their teamwork when combining all of their specials and moving at the right time, it's insane. Their special pushes compared to any other team, I feel like, is what elevates them. Because I feel like they find so much value out of every single special they use. But I think with that, it's probably not going to be long before we're going to be sending it off to a break, and that's going to be us off.
That's going to be it. And again, thank you so much to everybody who worked to make this such a fantastic event.
Yeah, I want to give I've been working very close with him. K-Bot just took this and ran. Sendu came to a couple of casters with this league saying, oh, I want these players to play together so we can have a high-level tournament. Stream it if you can every now and then on your own channels. I don't care. K-Ball took that and he made a Twitter, he made a YouTube, he got us casting and schedules, he got overlays, he got crazy PowerPoint graphics, he got in-game TV work on the finals, and what an amazing product that we really came up with. So massive shout outs to K-Bot, massive shout outs to Sendu to getting the initiative, and massive shout outs to everyone at Endgame TV and all of the casters for getting this going. And I think that's going to be the end. And thanks so much for casting this with me today, Nine.
Thank you so much, and I just want you to know that your impression of me was a better impression than I could have done of myself. So I really,
I don't want to talk
appreciate
about. No, we're not going to talk about those videos. They can be kept for another time.
Well, congratulations again to FTWin, your very first transatlantic Splatoon League champion. 2020 and 2021 certainly deserved all the different rosters that they've brought in, fighting through any adversity that was thrown at them and coming to show you why, once again, they stand at the peak of North American and European Splatoon.
Yep, they certainly do, and I'm unsure when we're going to be moving through, but it's really been amazing. I believe that's us moving to a break now. So make sure not to go anywhere. We're going to have interviews. We're going to have analysis. So do not move out of your seats. Thanks so much again, and enjoy the ending of TASL Season 2.